circle of light, this ever expanding circle of light. The light doesn't change. It's always the same. Let's just look at the light, that which never changes. It shines infinitely. It's so beautiful. I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to just focus on light and come together in this way with mighties who are so devoted to the light, and just to be reminded by my brothers constantly, by our constant joining together. Yes, the light is here, salvation here, joy is here. The celebration's here, even when sometimes it just, the play is going to play like a little tiger bear. As soon as you just sit down with Jesus for a moment in light. Okay, Jesus, is there any tension here? I'm just going to put it right in the light of all, look at that shining out there. Now, who could resist just giving it to your brother too, as a symbol of Jesus in the mind? So much gratitude and so much joy, and we're just joining on projects, and just the willingness is joyful. And to play in the Spanish translation, we might have the Spanish speakers join us tomorrow. We're testing out the system to be able to do a simulcast Spanish translation of this, and there's a whole WhatsApp group now in Spanish as well. It's just really extraordinary. Jesus, just so much love. It just extends and extends and extends. And yeah, what a joy. What a joy to have these mighties devoted. It's very humbling, actually. It's very humbling and very touching, and to hear and to be able to join and hear Jesus remind me of all the things I need to see through my brother. And joining with Marguerite today. And I'll share that joining. It's really so beautiful, so beautiful. And as we spend focus on those desires, and we're seeing it, the reflections, you're the reflections of God. I mean, and the opening of the blooming, as it's really, as I've said, it's a falling away of the idea of personal identity. As it falls away, like these joy kisses come, love kisses. And you know, she was asking me about, okay, so tears are flowing, and you just ask Jesus and you could feel the release in it. The release of all that tension and all that play and consciousness that's just been, we've wound into and been so afraid to look. And with Jesus taking us directly to desire and just focusing with him on desires, and the joy just grows and grows and grows as that old stuff just falls away in the release. And hearing exactly what we need to hear from our brother. It's the fulfillment of everything he says. The happy learner. The happy learner, just looking and admitting these denials. So we're going for it. The Mighty Power Companion team. And no one left behind. This is the best no one left behind school ever. Because you just want everyone to be there. You just feel them. You want to, they're all in your heart, and they're all here with you. Because there's just one. The love of your life is in front of you. Like I'm looking at Dara today, like almost in tears, like that's infinite. Everything about that's infinite. There isn't anything limited in that who we are. But bringing you to your tears of gratitude and love and totality right there, sitting in front of you, right there. Go for God. So So, okay, go for God today. We're talking about those little secrets and the belief that the ego, the power to be victorious. And he's reminding me too, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like sometimes you just got to say no. Like, no. Mm-mm. No to the idea that we have, or the ideas. And like he was saying to Marguerite today, stay with me, just rest. Rest with me. Fireside chat. Come sit over here by the fire with me and just talk to me about everything. Just ask me everything. I'm here for you. Oh my God. It's just to have that voice of comfort and truth. And to have your brother for comfort and truth. Yeah, even when you don't want to join anyway. That's the gig, isn't it? You talked about the body being weak and guilty pleasure. So now we come to your beliefs converge upon the body. Yeah, all the different ways that consciousness can pretend like it's what it's not. And he catches every subtle one through these beliefs from A Course in Miracles and translates them for us right into the desire for experience. So here comes one. Your beliefs converge upon the body, the ego's chosen home, which you believe is yours. Chosen. You can hear the word chosen. Choosing for the ego. Denials, desires are choosing for the ego. That's what he's showing us. How we're choosing for the ego with following our desires. You desire an experience in which all that you believe converges on the body. Jesus, do we desire an experience? Is there a desire below my level of awareness for all my beliefs to converge upon the body? It's like it gets to a point you can't even finish the sentence and you already know it's a yes. Yes. I'll read it again. You desire an experience in which all that you believe converges on the body. Becomes the focal point of attack. I just said, Jesus, are all beliefs attacks? Yes. Any belief is an attack. The tiniest, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny, polka dot bikini of a belief is an attack because it's withholding. See, a belief is made to pretend like there can be limit. It's a constriction on love. It's trying to make love tiny and small. And it's going to hurt. Because does infinite light have any beliefs in our direct experience? When we look infinite light, can we find a belief in there? No beliefs. It's the belief-free zone. Doesn't even know what a belief is. Our natural state beliefs are unknown. Our desires, can we find a desire, a wanting of something, any kind of energy, trying to grab onto something, trying to hold on to something, trying to hang on to something? Can we find any energy like that in the light of infinite being? So those are all good. You can hear the language patterns come out. Holding on, grabbing, wanting, desiring. That you can feel it. The kind of the movement out, the play outward without anything going outward. Does anything go outward in the light? Can anything escape the light? I'm just going to turn off my binging. I get binging. I'm getting all kinds of binging. Put it on airplane mode. The little pings of love coming through there. So we're just going to look really different, you know. So it becomes this is focal point in consciousness, the proving ground. The proving ground that something's happening. Is the body the proving ground that something's happening? He's so right all the time. Thankfully, he is right all the time. Otherwise, we'd be in perpetual hell land. Okay. Okay. You desire an experience in which all that you believe converges on the body, giving the ego a home as though the ego has taken hold of it without your choice. We want that so badly. Jesus, is there a desire below my level of awareness to give the ego a home as though it can take over my body without my choice? Okay. I'm willing to see that desire. I'm willing to look at that head on. That's it. That desire to have something against our choice. When it's our choice, is that my choice for that experience? See, desire is choice for an objective experience. Are they the same? Ask Jesus. Yes. We know this already. Alrighty. Can we get a miracle? He said, no, you need to focus on that. Okay. All right. Look deeper. You desire an experience. Let's see what he wants us to look at. Giving the ego a home as though the ego has taken hold of it. I would say it's like, come over here and sit. This is fireside Jesus chat, right? Okay. See how much you want to be taken over by something. Jesus, do I have a desire to be taken over by something? And be taken. And just hear that, yes. Okay. Can we ask for a miracle? He says no. So we still need to look. Okay, what else do we need to see? He says, just be with that desire to be taken. Like, be with that. The wanting of being taken over by something. He says, can I say that? He says, yeah. You pretend like you don't want to be taken over by the board, but you really do. You really love it. See how you love the experience of being taken over. Wanting to be taken over by the ego. Is there a desire to be taken over by the ego? What else do we need to see around being taken over? Just stay with how much you want it. He says, stay with how much you really, really, really want that. He's saying that's actually the desire to be completely disempowered. So be with that desire to be admit it. It's like we admit, okay, I want to be disempowered by something outside myself. Yeah, he says this is very valuable time spent really looking at that wanting to be disempowered and taken over, pretending like you can be taken over something more powerful than you are, more powerful than your identity of light. So I'm asking now, can we ask for a miracle? Like so much love comes. He says, yes. He says, when you really go deep on these, the admission, you see, it's a release of the energy. Otherwise, you can ask for a miracle, but there's still a denial of the miracle under that. Like, it'd say, yeah, I want a miracle. No, you don't. Kind of thing. The eye doesn't want a miracle. So it's like, so he's just getting in there with surgical precision as we ask, okay, is this what we want to see? Okay. You desire an experience in which, okay, let's admit this is a good one. You desire an experience in which you deny the ego is your choice. Jesus? Jesus. Is there a desire below my level of awareness to deny the ego is my choice? I said, can we ask for a miracle? He goes, okay, what else do we need to see? Your desire to give the ego a home in a body. Jesus, is there a desire below or level of my level of awareness of to give the ego a home in a body? He says you can never be free without seeing through this. Or see that you're free without really seeing how much it's wanted. Admit that the ego is a choice. It's a desire, without really and seeing it, we want to create that little home. Put out the little welcome mat. Come on in to the ego. Like, yeah, that's what he's saying. Oh, so much love in that. He's just saying when you start seeing through that game, because we want to put that outside of ourselves. Oh, the face of innocence thing, push it away and not really look how much we don't want to admit it's a choice. It's a choice to have an experience of the ego. The decision to give it a home as body identification. Want to give that dream a home as a body, identifying with a body, that infinite light can be a body. Can infinite light be a body? Can we find a body in that hidden somewhere in infinite light? Jesus, is there a desire to identify with my body to deny the light? To try to prove I'm not the light? Is there a desire to use my body to prove that I am not the light? Yeah, okay. Okay, can you help us through that? He goes, yes. What do we need to see? Okay, so it comes next. So much love in this, just like infinite love. You have joined with the thought you have made of yourself, the ego joining. So it's false joining with the thoughts. Like, and just, hanging on, not wanting to, because of the belief that love's in it. Jesus, is there a belief below my level of awareness that love is in body identification? That love can be found through identifying with the body? And he says, yes. Okay. He says that's the whole game of it. See, in the release of body identification through the miracles, washing out that idea, the release of that stopped up density, you can't identify as much with the body. The body floats away. So we're releasing the decision to have identification with the body. We can ask for the miracles washing out the identification with the body to deny spirit. You have joined with thought you've made of yourself the ego so you can avoid what is already joined. So let's just ask, Jesus, here you go. You kind of know it, but you have to, there's no you, but consciousness somehow in the play of consciousness has to look directly at the miscreations, not hide the miscreation below awareness anymore, but to let it rise up, to go right here and go, oh, that's not true. That kind of thing. That's all it is. It's like, is that true? No. The life, is that true? No. Rather than push it down, keep it hidden and pretend like it's not powerful enough. Consciousness is not powerful enough to miscreate the experience of a body, to deny light. He's reminded, it's acceptance of true power. You have joined with the thought you've made of yourself, the ego. Is the ego a thought that we've made of ourselves? See, he uses made versus create. Miscreation equals made. Made a few thoughts, put them in a box and said, that's me. The box being this. And say, that's me. In the light of divine being, is that true? So we just see in the light doesn't have a box around it, doesn't know what a box is. You desire the experience of the ego joining with the illusion of yourself and keeping the illusion to deny yourself. Jesus, is there any desire to keep the illusion to deny myself? Keeping an illusion. Is there any desire to keep an illusion to deny myself infinite love? I want to look at that directly if it's so. Like I say, like we were talking about, any kind of pinging. Mind wandering is pinging. You kind of ping off of actually looking. Any kind of, oh, I've already looked at this. I should look at everything. Until he says I'm toasted. That's why I'll look at it again and don't assume anything that I've seen through it until he says that's clear. He tells me. Is that helpful? Ask him, Jesus, is that helpful for you to tell me when something's cleared from consciousness? Because that little chirpy bird that sits the talking head inside, oh, you're done. It's like, who you talking to, you know? You're done. No, you're not. It keeps you humble because you think, the first time, oh man, the first time, really, I got this. That is guaranteed to call the consciousness. I hate to say it, but it's going to be a slap down. Because it's really, because the eye's still in there somewhere. Jesus is not slapping it down. We're going to get slapped down because we still believe that there's something outside of us that can slap us down. Do you see? We haven't gone all the way through the desire to experience slap down. I haven't seen it all the way through. It really gets very motivating to look different. Look through this. Okay. You desire an experience of the ego joining with the illusion of yourself and keeping the illusion to deny yourself. This is the illusion of losing control of yourself. Jesus, do I desire? I'll see it for me. Do I desire? Wait. Do I have a desire below my level of awareness for an illusion of losing control? Being controlled by something outside of myself. It's funny. Sometimes the words are just a little bit different and you'll say, no, it's cleared on one, and the other, it'll be yes. It's really, that precision in the way he uses language. That's why we have to go through each one carefully with him that he delivers out so that there's no wiggle. Desire to lose control, have something control over. Something outside of myself doing something, actually. I want to see that. That's yet your true self, the light within, remains unchanged. So that's all we do is we just check in. Does the light maintain unchanged? Is the light running and hiding? Just always referring back to the light, as he keeps saying to all of us, and all those reflections coming, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. Thus, you desire the experience of the ego, of suffering and despair and hopelessness with no way out. Okay. We might as well look directly. Okay. All right. Let's just ask. That's the hopelessness right there. The desire for the experience of hopelessness, despair, and suffering with the feeling of no way out. Jesus, are we still playing in that asteroid belt there of hopelessness and no way out? No, because we're starting to see there's a way out. Him. See, until we admit he's the way out, we're going to feel hopeless. Until we fully, I'm asking, yes, until we fully accept that he is the way, the truth, and the life that lives within us, it lives, well, there's no words for it, but lives within. The life within, the capital L within, until that's admitted that this is the only way, he is the only way, he is, go to him nonstop all day long. We will feel the effects of our own delusions. That's why he says, I will make no decisions by myself. We can ask him, Jesus, if I'm making any decisions by myself, am I going to feel hopeless, despair, and suffering? And just hear the answer. Yeah. So it cannot be 1% of the, 99% of the time. Just have to be all the time. Yes, because it's divinity. The tiniest no is 100% no to divinity right now. See carefully what you have chosen to experience and let the memory of the light, the Holy Spirit within, lead you out. See happily that what you desire to experience is impossible. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, is it possible in the light of divine being for something to take a divine being over? Can something take the light over? Can something hold the light under its control? Even if we get taken over by the Borg, are we still the light? That was just a beautiful expression. I can't remember exactly. That was just kind of writing about the Borg. Might have been Mickey. She's so wonderful. She writes all these amazing things, but about realizing that, that whole collective idea, like so afraid to be assimilated. We're too late. We're already assimilated. That's the Pleiadian consciousness. Assimilation is where all the happiness is. Well, light doesn't use the word assimilation. The ego uses assimilation to cause terror. That's the terror. Oh, I'm going to be assimilated. No, you're already assimilated. You can't be separate from the light. The light's saying, see that you're light. See in the light of divine being, it is patently impossible to have an ego. Is it possible to have an ego in the light of divine being? Must the ego be a dream in the light of divine being? Is suffering a dream? Let's ask the light. We can all hear it. Let him tell us. Yes, indeed. Go for God. That's why he says, be with me, be with the light, and keep asking me. It's just, yeah, for me, asking him constantly, little fireside chats, and you see that expression coming out in these joining sessions, a little joining and just really hearing him, how it's just a fireside chat. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to put up Teresa's little letter that she wrote. It's so beautiful. And you can all do this. Everyone can do this, but it's supporting all of us to see. She has a little chat with Jesus, and he'll go, well, dear, and he'll tell her this little beautiful answer, and she go, well, what about this, Jesus? And then it's just adorable. It's just like what's happening in the light circles, but he's just showing us how we can just have this continual talk. I'm just asking him about today with Marguerite, because she said someone was talking to me and he was talking to me. You know, she could feel herself really starting to hear that voice while someone else. And I'm just asking him. And he said, he's saying the same thing. It hasn't changed. So it's for me. We have one responsibility. That's to listen to that voice. And so that voice is the only voice to listen to. So it doesn't matter if some kind of sound's happening out there. You listen to him and say, what, you know, that's our only function. There is no other out there talking. There's no one out there talking. I mean, there's words coming out, but, and you know, because there's such an idea of being disrespectful and all this sort of thing, but for a time, it's needed to turn inward and ask him, okay, please interpret this for me. He's saying that's helpful for me. So he gets my full attention. There's nothing in this world gets more attention than this way, other than, yes, now, you know, after a while you can, I don't know, it's like global. You can hear it in your brother, and you hear him everywhere. But at first, that attentiveness this way is helpful, he's saying. It's very helpful. You're giving him your full focus, the light, because that's the voice of the light within. You believe life apart from heaven is possible. Let's know where this is headed. You desire an experience where you experience life apart from heaven is possible. Jesus, is there a desire below my level of awareness to have to experience light apart from heaven? And to believe that life can be apart from heaven? Is there a desire for experience to believe life can be apart from heaven when it's really death? We can hear that one. That's where he keeps pointing to, you're confusing heaven with hell. Are we confused about what heaven and hell is? And here is there's no way out without that light. There's just isn't. Because we got it all upside down. We think heaven's hell and hell is heaven. Ask the light. Okay. That's why he needs to tell us where we're upside down. You're upside down. Let me show you how you're upside down there. I'm going to show you, and then you can be kind of, so he does those little internal course corrections. The kingdom of heaven. Oh, here we go. You desire an experience where you experience life apart from heaven as possible, yet this is the same as the desire for experience of death. Okay, so it's right there confirming that's what it is he's saying. The kingdom of heaven within as life itself is within as life itself with a capital L. All of life, because there's such an association. Jesus, do I have an association of life with the body? And if that's a yes, you want to look really deeply so he can teach you about what life is. Let him teach you that life is light, all that is, infinite beingness. So you can see that life is infinite light. The body is not life. Is the body life? And ask him. You know, we want to go explore life on other planets. There is no life on another planet. It's a projection. Ask the light that. Or having planets, is that a projection? Is that an idea? Is there any life on another planet? And hear what Jesus says, no. You might see movement on another planet, but that's not what life is. Life is the totality of all that is. Everything. Infinite love as it is, exactly where it is, that now. That's life. Your life. And cannot be apart from you, as you are one with the Father in heaven always. We can just ask the light to be reminded, are we one with the Father always in the light? Smoking session. Okay. The kingdom of heaven within is life itself and cannot be apart from you, or as you are one with the Father, one in heaven. You believe death is salvation. Thus, you desire an experience of death as salvation. I'm just asking them. So there's a belief that love is in dying, a body dying, and ask, you can hear it. Yep. Is there a belief that peace is in body dying? Yep. That's salvation. Peace and love can be found in a body dying. Or any kind of death, really. Any kind of denial of light. We can ask them, is any desire, any denial of light death? Thus you desire and experience death as salvation. You believe you deserve death for defying your Father. And that shows up in a bunch of ways, right? That's pain and suffering and guilt, and you deserve death. And that's why it's so helpful. He's here just to have those fireside chats with Jesus so he can just tell you, you're innocent, you're innocent, you're innocent. Except we don't want to hear him and we don't want to believe him. Consciousness wants to play that way and say no to itself, to its own wholeness. And he would tell you and come within and tell you of the love, like infinite love. He would tell you and speak to you of the Father. I and the Father are one, therefore you and the Father are one. We are one. And there's no difference between you and I. We walk together as one. There's an image in the mind that Jesus walks side by side. He walks within. So the denial is the death. The denial that we're denying ourselves through the miscreation of the desire for the experience of ego. And we believe the ego is salvation. Ask the light. Is there a belief below my level of awareness that the ego is my salvation? That's humbling. Show me the desire for the ego to be my salvation. He said, that's a really good one to sit down and marinate with me on. Okay. Ego salvation. Love can be found through the ego. You believe you deserve death for defying your Father. Let's just ask, Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness that I deserve death for defying my Father? He says, I say that, yeah. He says, even when you see, you can't really defy your Father. You still want to experience death. You still want that death. You still want to say no to yourself as divine being. I'm willing to admit it and look. desire an experience of death rather than to know that as a divine being of the Father, you do not know what death is. Does a divine being of light, infinite light, know what death is in our direct experience? Can we find a way not to be death in truth when we look as the light? So as long as there's not an acceptance of light, and that light is all there is, and be willing to just completely look at all the denials, then it'll seem like we're in hell, and just a little while in heaven and then back to hell. Because because of the desire, not we, consciousness plays wanting the denial. Is there anything else? No, he's saying it's really complete. He just keeps reminding me to sit with him on anything that doesn't feel totally clear from the session. And if you want, like, join with a buddy, join with a mighty and go, that didn't feel quite clear to me. I could really feel he's pointing me to, out of the session, and then you can just jump on and join and go deeper with him. That's what he's saying. Thank you, Jesus. Enjoy those fireside chats with them. They're so precious. And with each other. That's just having fireside chats with each other. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
That's just precious. All we're having is fireside chats with each other. That's just gorgeous. Thank you, Jesus.